blue face, baby. Yeah, I'm every woman's fantasy. Mama always told me I was gonna break hearts. I guess surf off stupid. Don't be mad at me, I wanna see you bust down. Bend that shit over on the desk. Yeah, make that shit clap. She threw it back, so I had to double back on the gang. Smacking high off the drug. I tried to tell myself 2 times enough. Then the nigga relapsed on the dead lows. Ain't no running, Tatiana. You gon' take these damn shows, Tatiana. I think the pussy up, now it's a murder scene. Keep shit player, Tatiana, like you ain't never even heard of me. But bust down.
What the hell was that? Well, here we are, fucking Unfiltered Reptiles Podcast. Damn, that was. I mean, I don't even want to. I ain't taking that blame because it's the fucking internet. It's the service. My bad, guys. We're here. What's good?
Hey.
I had like everything I wanted to say, like I had something really funny to say. Now everything's just fucked. It's not just fucked. Never mind. We're great. Anyways. Hi guys. How are you? Beautiful people.
We're wonderful.
Welcome to Unfiltered Reptiles Podcast with the hardest co-host in the world. And we have the beautiful Desiree Manat, and we have the sexy, young stallion, Stephen Kush, with this freshly haircut. Hey, Stephen. Who lined you up?
Say about that at all.
Come on, get over here. Come on, you know you're good looking. Get over here. Come on. Hey, did Jason Ghost line you up? Your hair looks very fresh.
At Jade the Barber 317.
Wow.
You can't go anywhere else.
Yeah. Lars got his haircut too.
Sure did.
Hey, quick question, and then I'll get over what just happened right now. But did the intro play? Like, did you guys see anything, or everything played and went all the way through? Huh?
Yeah.
Seems like it.
All right. So we're not too damaged, man.
Yeah,
but
we just had about a 3-minute air time of nothing. But other than that, we were perfect.
I thought you were doing it on purpose, and you wanted us to stare at that beautiful snake thumbnail
There
for
were
that
worse
one.
times.
That's what- At least you had something sick to look at while we're like, while I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on my end. But guys, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time checking out Unfiltered Reptiles podcast, and you came for tonight's guest. Oh, my mind's fucked up.
Oh, you're a host. The fuck.
Anyways,
Try again.
Take two. And
welcome to Unfiltered Reptiles Podcast. If this is your first time tapping in with us, please hit the subscribe button, notification bell. That way you're on top of every single ERP episode that we drop. Thursday mornings is when they actually come out, but you could tap into the lives if you're part of the Patreon fam. So shout out to all the Patreon fams watching right now and all the like trap Patreon fams who came in and checked it out because it's going to be sick. I'm talking about super sick. You want to know what else is sick? Cold Blooded Cafe. That's www.coldbloodedcafe.com. The freshest and bestest delivered to your doorstep. Day one pinkies all the way to the mammoth rats. $30 flat rate shipping. You cannot beat that. Got eggs, put them inside of a sim container. Sim boxes are actually out now. You could actually cop some sim containers. I'm not even joking. They just released them February 1st. I'm not too sure how many are left because they don't last. So did you guys cop any or no?
we should. Not yet, but it's on the agenda.
We have a shitload.
All right. I think John Price.
No, we need more Sim XL.
All right. Yeah, we all do for sure. Maybe John could just set some aside for us and just ship it. You feel me? All right. We'll have to talk to John about that. Enclosures that are super, super tough in this game is the Focus Cube Habitats, man. Really, really awesome enclosures made out of PVC. Very easy to move. And mine's finally coming. I got the tracking info, and I can't wait. It's going to go down. Just like how it's going to go down tonight. What do you guys know about tonight's guest? Steven, what do you know about this gentleman?
So, Ed, do you like the chondro pythons, MJ?
Yes, the chondro types? Yes.
Yes, those. Do you like the designer types of those chondro pythons?
Like these ones?
Yeah. Like, for instance, that one would be a great example. Yeah.
Right?
Well, then, I think you're in for a treat tonight because we got one of the heaviest hitters in the green tree python game for a while. We got James Opdahl on the show, and someone who I definitely look up to. He's got some amazing animals that you've seen his social media. You know for a fact what we're talking about here, and we're definitely very lucky to have him grace us with his presence on this episode tonight. So,
yep. So here he is.
James.
Here he is. We got James from Captive Snakes, and we got the homie Andy Middleton, which is just a special treat because I look up to Andy, and here he is with James. Man, what's going on, fellas?
What's happening, kids?
Hey.
Chilling. How are you guys? You guys look comfortable. That's what I like to see.
Thanks. Thank you for those nice accolades.
Well, they're all facts. Like I always say, Steven doesn't speak unless they're facts, right, Steven?
Nope. You see a hat on my head?
Yep. No caps. But James, I want to know how everything's going on your end. How you doing today? How's everything with you with the whole COVID situation and stuff? Just want to know how everything is for you before we get into it.
I'm gonna blame everything on COVID. Like that's the new thing, isn't it?
Why not?
Blame COVID.
No, things are going good, man. I mean, as a side result, I've had more time to work on the animals, so I'm straightening things out and trying to streamline everything and just get more success with them. It's hard, and that's the way I can say it. Basically, green tree pythons are difficult to reproduce. They're not hard to kill. I mean,
that's for sure.
It's it's the never-ending kind of a struggle, but you keep learning.
Right.
Yep.
So we all have the same first question as far as your up and comings, but I want Desiree, go and ask the first question if you don't mind. Because we're all thinking the same thing, right? But
Yeah.
Go ahead and drop the first question if you don't mind for us.
Okay. When did you get started, and who are your biggest mentors coming up?
I mean, I've been doing this for 40 years. I just turned 50, so I've been doing this for 40 years. I started probably before I was 10. And
Wow.
Started breeding, keeping and breeding anything locally, and started with corn snakes and started breeding boa constrictors. But by the time I was 12, I had bred a couple of species and produced them. And then always wanted green tree pythons, man. Like, whenever I saw, like, dude, it was like a Ranger Rick magazine. I wish I could find this damn magazine because it was called Ranger Rick. And there was a picture of a green tree python being held by like one of the Highland natives. And it was in like a perfect ball. And it was just the sickest picture of this crazy serpent. I was like, that's like the most extremely like tropical, you know, crazy experience. Like I want to go there, you know, like those things are like crystals. So like back then it was like, that was where I first saw green tree pythons. And then I was like hooked on them.
Right.
And,
So what about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What was your
No,
question?
go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. That was my fault. Go ahead.
No, there's no problem. It's so basically I started to pursue trying to find, it wasn't just green tree pythons, emerald tree boas. I was like, these things are crazy. So that was what I was interested in. So I started, after I was breeding boa constrictors, I went to get first green tree like 30 years ago, maybe more. And I finally was able to find a couple when they first started coming into the country. And basically from there, I started having success with it, you know? So it's just trial and error.
Yeah, for sure. Trial and error is probably the biggest experience with almost anything that you keep, for sure. Now, what can you tell us exactly what year it was when you like started getting into chondros as far as keeping them and you know, and then what year when you actually started pairing them up and breeding them?
Probably it was like 2007 when I got back into them, because a little period of time where I had a few, stopped trying with them because I had lost that pair while I was in transit moving, and like more years went by. But 2009 is when I first had success breeding with just green tree pythons. It was all I was focused on. And so from 2010 were the first babies produced, the breeding year 2009 into 2010. So every year since consecutively, I've been able to produce green tree pythons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it wasn't for like people like Rico and Trooper and, you know, Tim Morris, Christian, and people like that, I would be like none of it. It's Buddy Buscemi and you guys know Speedy Gonzalez?
Like the character, like the actual cartoon? Because I do.
Character, but yes, Speedy. He got me through like the first green tree python incubation. I had him like crashing, and that guy like helped me get out of that situation and hatch them that first year successfully.
Wow.
But yeah, it was so much involved with just the history of it all.
Now, when you talk about like, you know, your chondros crashing, you're talking about your neonates that you hatched out, or what was crashing on you?
Eggs crashing, because like, you know, that first couple of hours is pretty critical, and then the next 14 days are very critical. If you can get past that 14-day mark, you know, you're doing well. But usually if they're going to crash, they crash in the first day. If they have good eggs, you know, they'll go the distance. If you have fertile good eggs, it's your what you're doing to them that's going to affect everything.
Now, I mean, I've only had 2 chondro clutches with my experience, but I've seen eggs go from like being cool for like the first 30 days, and then they just go to shit. Like, what do you think that? What do you think we're doing with that? Or
I think that is a very good sterile incubator, and they just don't deteriorate. They just were never good to begin with. They because if you cut those open, you know, they are just look like a pile of yellow mush in there.
yeah, yep.
They'll look perfect. Nothing ever happen. And then others you'll see, you know, like should have come out dead in the egg. I mean, there's a lot that can go wrong in the egg, and there's a lot of things that do go wrong. And The one, not being able to get out, I don't know if it's a weak egg tooth or what, but you'll have some that are just dead in there, some that are perfectly formed. Then you'll have others that have the umbilical cord wrapped around them in a slip knot. When they try to come out, and you see their little head like just breaching the egg. And then that animal sits there for like 8 hours because it's like trying to push out, but that umbilical is tightening and it's dying. So it'll sit there if you don't like take a look at it, because you can fix it.
Right. So do you think there's a lot of problems that could be prevented if we were to like cut the egg a little bit instead of waiting for so long for it to come out? Like I know like there's like for instance ball pythons, right? Like it's typical to cut on a certain day. But what is that like with chondros?
Well, you can cut them too early and then they'll come out, and that's no good either. So what I normally do is I'll basically wait until they start to pip out on their own, wait like another 8 hours and leave them, or maybe 10 hours, and just check on them and see if at least one more pops out. And if there does, then I'd let them go like the full 24 hours, because some could be further along than others, by a day. So after that, then if nothing else is coming out, I normally will start to slowly open them up just to see if they're alive in there and give them a poke. And if they twitch, I just leave them.
Right. Got it. Yep.
But it's I don't know what the best procedure is, honestly, because I haven't done enough research on it. But I mean, I don't know if you turn the eggs, it does make some sort of difference, or if you try to keep them upright. But I mean, I've done both, because sometimes when you take the female off of them, they're rolling around, but like if they're not in the fall, you're going to see them move. So I just don't know what effects that has on it. And then you're talking about eggs that look perfect on the last day but never developed. I mean, bacteria that can get into the incubator and into the egg. I mean, you're making a petri dish, so anything in there is going to make that and some mold or some other stuff happen. And even that can be basically resolved just by like bleaching everything that goes into that incubator and just making it the most sterile environment possible.
So what do you use for your egg boxes, incubation medium? What do you do for that?
I just use water. So I put water in there, but I use just like basically they're like a sim container type of a deal, but they're just, what's that?
It's polycarbonate.
Yeah, it's a polycarbonate material, but they're just like a cheaper version. I've used all sorts of different containers, and any container will do if you have good eggs to start with. That's the key is getting those good eggs, because they can have weak shells, they can have very hard shells, but and then the timing of putting them in there, because somebody had mentioned something about putting eggs in the incubator, and like if you let them harden off and make sure, sometimes people will rush and the female just laid them, they're not even white and leathery yet. So they put them in there. If you put them in there before that happens, those are the eggs that are going to tank on you in 24 hours.
So what you do is give them a break once they've laid to egg, and almost the exterior of the eggshell almost gets a little harder and has that more typical egg look as opposed to a freshly laid egg that you expect.
You'll see them turn from like that yellowy color to more of a nice white, like a perfect nice white. And if you wait that period of time, then those eggs should be technically. It's just you only have so many things that you could screw up, and humidity, temperature, and fluctuations. So if you can mitigate that, but too much air circulation drives the things out too, and there's a lot of different things into it that I think that we still don't have any clue about. Like how much open air, how much air do you regulate into the egg box? That's, debatable. I mean, sometimes I leave them shut and have good results. Sometimes I start opening holes later on in the incubation at the end. But,
okay. That was kind of a follow-up question, was how do you, if you do any ventilation in your egg boxes or not, and if it's progressively opening up more?
What I do is I pre-drill those holes and I tape them over, usually 3 or 4 holes on either side, keep them taped. And then, first couple of weeks, I won't open anything if it has good condensation inside there, because I want it quite high. And then as time progresses, I'll slowly start to regulate a couple across from each other open, so to create vacuum. And towards the end more is when I'll start taking them off, when they're really starting to sweat the last 8 days, and they'll start to generate their own heat essentially so that's when I'll start to open them up.
Will you also drop temperatures in that last 8 days?
I just do a straight 87.2 degrees because I'll have multiple clutches going in, and I just have the one incubator that I use, and
fair enough.
So it just makes it easy that way. But I mean, it's still very weird. You'll see multiple clutches in the same incubator, same condition. They all looked good.
Is that me? Is that you?
But I don't know, man. There's a lot to it, and I still don't know a lot. Is the way I feel,
Fair enough. On kind of the same topic, have you ever done maternal incubation?
I haven't. Let's have Tim Morris on here.
No.
Or no?
We'd love to have him on.
Love it.
A good amount of maternal incubation, and with some of the craziest bloodlines too, right?
Yep. Lots of the original blue line pairings and whatnot. The Tim Morris blue female maternally incubated a ton of clutches for him, and all those neonates, and that female was just prolific and produced a lot of killer stuff, and most of her clutches were maternal. And Mr. Blue popped out of a maternal clutch, and just to name one. But Tim has a lot of experience, and I think a lot of the data that Trooper Walsh was able to get early on helped him get that dialed in pretty well.
Yeah, Tim's done a lot. I mean, a vast amount of information from that guy. I mean, the first blue line animal essentially, and
he's the one who did the Tim Morris blue female cross legend pairing that is why we have the blue line that we have today, and he's a big part of all that. Epic.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, James. Back to the maternal incubation. Now, for instance, I do hear there's so many different personalities of chondros when they're hatched, the runners, right? The ones that just want to take off. And then you have ones that come out striking and wanting to eat right out the egg. But if you were to maternal incubate those neonates, do those have a higher success of coming out fucking ready to rock and roll? Or do you still, is it the same rolling the dice like you would if you were to incubate them in the incubator?
I wish I knew the answer to that question, because I would definitely maternally incubate if that was the fucking
for real. Me too.
Shit. Damn. I mean, you know what? There could be something that the babies could get pheromones off the female that's coded to pull that information into their brain. I mean,
maybe
anything's possible. I mean, with these stupid things. So it's
well, because I always think about it, James. I'm like, how in the fucking world do these survive in the wild? I am so confused.
The dumbest fucking snake, hands down.
I don't get it.
They kill me, dude. They'll literally break your fucking heart.
I mean, what Ed Marino says the same thing about basins, that they're fucking stupid. That, you know, like for instance, he puts his hatchlings over water, but he says if you put too much, they'll drown themselves. Like they'll somehow just drown themselves. And I'm like,
I've had snakes drown themselves, freaking hang themselves. I mean,
God,
these fucking things are like, they'll do anything just to like ruin, like just completely crush your soul. I mean, dude, I had a female that was Tim Morris's.
It was the Gordon Blue 2 female.
Yeah, Gordon Blue female to my best male, my Andrew Amon male. So I put him in there. I'm like, this is a no-brainer. These are going to be the sickest fucking snakes ever. And put him in there. He's totally locked up with her like a champ for like a week. One of them dumps it in the water bowl. I'm like, that's like horrid. I had to get it out of there, but I was very like close and slow. But dude, I pulled the thing out, and like the female saw me and just ripped his cock out.
Oh my God, terrible.
Both heavy
He took his manhood.
Ripped it, and it was like, dude, I saw this. I was like, holy shit.
Oh my God.
And I was like, there, he's fucked. And you know, the next day, I felt so bad for this thing. So I had to get him to the vet because I could not reinsert the hemipenes myself.
Oh my God.
And so we said it was still there, man, but it was like we were going to reinsert them, and basically we had to put them under and sedate the animal, get that operation going, and then but it got necrosis, and dude literally watched this poor bastard's balls fall off, and it was like, I was like, really, man? And now this thing is like this, you know, just the sickest animal I had, just done. And
Damn.
I had to just euthanize him.
Never.
The female laid a clutch too. And,
so his legacy lived on.
So she laid a clutch. About 4 were good or so, and then she passed away shortly after laying the clutch. And 1 egg was good, you know, after a substantial amount of time. And the 1 egg went full term. Was the sickest Neo I have ever seen.
He probably had the biggest dick. You know what I mean? He's probably just.
And then that thing promptly died.
And then that thing.
Oh, really?
Hatched out.
That's terrible.
We were like, yes.
It's like, whoa.
Damn animal, you know.
Big dick,
Like it was the best thing in the world, you know.
Oh my God. I've yet. I mean, I guess I haven't kept that many chondros for too long because I've not had it. You know,
I got jars full of those little fuckers. I'm gonna make a lava lamp out of them.
Imagine them floating.
Floating around.
It's in the works.
It's in the works.
Yeah,
Oh, that's gonna be a hit.
I'll buy one.
Dude, you know how they preserve the they take the skin off of the animal,
yeah,
and then they inject that dye in to the specimen.
What does it dye for?
Dude, it makes all of the muscle tissue just disappear and become clear.
Oh wow!
And then all of the dye lights up like neon, all of the circulatory system and everything. So you see everything in the skeleton except all the muscle tissue is like clear.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. You've seen that.
I think I have. I don't know too much.
Yeah,
about
sick.
It.
Check that out. Now, James, going back to your up and coming, you know, getting back into chondros, right? You said what 2009 is when you were, you know, you turned it back on. But who, like when Des asked you earlier, like who was kind of mentoring you, or who was the person that you were like either buying off of or just, you know, conversating with? Because everyone has somebody they talk to. So
I mean, that would be Christian Stewart and Tim Morris.
Heavy. Damn,
Yeah,
2 heavy hitters.
Paul August and Buddy Buscemi. And
all gangsters.
you know, a lot of people, but those were primarily, you know, Tommy Budway. I mean, Tommy's got some killer animals right now.
Are you writing these names down, Steven?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you've seen Tommy's. Tommy's out there. He did a breeding with Christian with What was that one?
Sirac was the sire. He's out of Crazy Lucy, the 2011 clutch. And the Jam, which is Tommy's female, which is SH09169, which is a Blue Max Jarvis animal. That's just nasty, solid blue. And
Rico.
Yeah, some great stuff out of might be the Godiva repeat. But yeah, just killer stuff. And they've just been having a ton of success with that pair and just awesome stuff coming out of that.
That female is awesome.
Now, I want to...
Yeah, Tommy's got one of the best blue line collections in the U.S. for sure.
What kind of relationship did you have with Rico, James? I always ask people that when they bring him up. Unfortunately,
I only met Rico once at the ICAS, and that was like an amazing place to be. I don't remember the year, 2014 maybe, but I had only met him there, and unfortunately, that was when he was fighting cancer, and I didn't need to impose myself upon anybody. I just felt like he should be among his close friends and stuff at that point. So I never got to really purchase any animals off of him directly, but I gotten some later. But super killer guy. And the ICAST that Buddy helped work that whole thing was such a good show. I wish we could get something like that to happen again. That was amazing. Right now, I bet if there was a show like that, it would be killer because so many people getting into it. It was all just arboreal stuff.
Was that the one in Maryland?
Yeah, it was so much fun, man. There were so many people there, lecturing, and they did such a killer job with that. That was, I guess, Mark Spataro and Buddy Buscemi, and who else was
Des, you went to that, right? With
Forrest did.
Oh, Forrest.
I
Okay.
did actually meet
I understand
Forrest
you
there.
on the fort.
I forgot. That's the first time I did meet Forrest.
Oh, wow. What was that like? I got to hear. What was your first impression of Forrest?
You know what? There were some things I don't remember from that. That was a fun show. We were having a good time for days. It was like two or 3 days. Dude, that was a fun time down there.
Damn, sounds like...
Yeah, I met so many people at that thing, but just the quality of the animals and all captive bred arboreal stuff. And
Marino
Ed was there. Ed Marino was there.
Sick.
There was a ton of people there.
That's backyard.
Christian had Golden Boy there.
Did he?
He had Golden Boy for sale there.
No shit.
Yeah, nobody bought him. Dude,
And they had the.
I feel like I've heard that name Golden Boy before. What's Golden Boy?
He's a crazy cross Jaya produced at the barn.
I think he probably wanted 10 or 11 grand for that snake. And back then I would have been like, that was a ton of money, but it would have been totally worth it. I mean, to me anyhow, I'm an idiot. I'd like to spend money on like just ridiculous pythons. It's like, but you have to justify it somehow by at least trying to like get your investment back. But it's like, that's a futile thing. To some extent. Well, when you can grow your own is like your happy moment,
For reals.
When you can produce something that you would want to buy, that's like,
yeah.
Goals.
Turn the phone around and be like, show them, man. Show them, like, just flip it around so they can see.
All right, he's gonna flex. Here we go. This is gonna be good. His setup is super choice. It's like dreamy goals, like what Desiree was saying. It's all goals.
You gotta watch on YouTube.
This when it's ready.
Holy fuck!
Can you go sideways for us, Andy, if you don't mind? There we go. Whew.
Look at all the different color lights.
All right, you got the floor, Andy. Andy, you got the floor, bro.
Are we going around and showing things?
All right, you want?
Show a couple stuff that you want to show. A couple of the designers that you want to start talking about. Let's go that route.
This girl.
Start over here.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna play them on the big screen, okay?
Hopefully you guys can see that all right. This is
Looks
another
great. Look,
animal produced at the barn. This is Sirac cross Lagatha. Sirac was mentioned earlier. He's from the Crazy Lucy clutch. Lagatha was actually an animal owned and produced by James from one of James's Highland animals that he's continuing to refine that line across to the Keith Thompson blue and black line. So she's basically a direct copy of her mom and just got a little bit of everything. You know, you got the nice blue blushing and blue coming up the sides, the yellow scales coming down the neck. That's almost reminiscent of some of the calico lineages, and just that nice cover of black scales popping through. So just the fucking one of my favorites here for sure. And can't beat something that's got everything going on. So this is
that is so
one of
fire.
James's high yellow animals that he produced 2 years ago. This was a part of a joint project, but Lemon Dream, OS, what else? A couple other things represented here, but this is one of James's productions as well. I'm not going to show just designer because this is a Biak, believe it or not, F1. An animal here on loan from Tim Morris. This girl's going through a prelay shed. She's definitely cooking something, but this is one of James's Highland animals.
Andy, you hear me?
This is that Highland line that I was mentioning earlier. I think I can hear somebody trying to talk to us.
Yeah, that's me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit.
Okay, listen. Go back to that Biak. I don't want to be Patrick Holmes on you, but I need to see that
Biak. All right, I'm going to slow down moving around. I think that was something.
Go back to the Biak, please.
He's a little fired up, but
You're about to. There he goes. Does he have a tooth stuck?
Bro, that thing looks like a designer. That is crazy.
Yeah, and
that's an F2 captive bred.
We actually clarified with Tim it's an F1.
Oh, it is an F1. Okay.
Yeah, from his buddy in New York.
Yeah, it's killer.
What else we got going on? This is Wamana Biak, who's got shit on deck. Wamana Biak, produced by Ryan Young.
Pregnant with shits on deck?
Pregnant and shits on deck.
That's my native name.
This is another animal from the barn. Definitely not a good look at him. He's Blue Deuce Biak. And
this girl.
This is an iconic animal of James.
Here, actually,
collection.
go from over this side.
She's a little
there she goes.
Fired up.
Just try to get from on top.
This is the Blue Manaquari female that is
oh my god. That's a basin.
Sounds like.
Watch your hand.
Yeah, I'll be careful. But so she's produced.
She's ancient.
Some nasty stuff, and she's quite old as well. But Tommy Budway owns one of the females and owned a spectacular, solid blue snake from the Andrew Amon Blue Manaquari.
This is a male.
This is a male produced by Tommy Budway. This is from his Rich Culver male, which is Dream Baby Mighty Blue. And the dam was a Dale Joel animal, descendant of Tinley, which is a giant type. But really, really nice snake. This lighting doesn't really do this animal justice. But yeah, awesome stuff.
Okay.
What else we got going on? This is another James production. 2012 Highland Bulldog.
Easy, buddy.
Half sib to Lagatha, which is the dam of the Sirac Lagatha female we showed you earlier. And Lagatha is actually the snake in the cover photo, or the you know what I mean, for this episode during her ontogenic color change. This girl's in shed, but she's Sky Topaz, which is a brass jungle arboreal pairing. Sky was a blue male out of Mr. Blue, Carolina. So this is a Sky Topaz Biak, produced by James in 2016. Socrates has a clutch mate female to this. And this girl kind of took off that more high yellow look. And Socrates is a bit everywhere.
Here's Tommy's.
Here's sorry if I'm going a little quick, guys. This is Sirac, that Crazy Lucy male at the barn, cross 09169. The Blue Max Jarvis female owned by Tommy Budway. So this is one of those animals out of the 2020 pairing. Going through its change. What's next, Mr. James?
Well, we have, let's see.
Just chondros now.
Just chondros. She's probably trying to shed now. This girl is heavily gravid and she's ready to get into her prelay shed right now. So hopefully these are gonna come out as good fertile eggs, but hopefully she gets like a good shed tonight. She's super full of eggs, so I'm curious to see how things go. Sometimes they just die. All right, so let's go. This is one of the little male Highland animals.
This is one of those animals from James's Highland line, a descendant of the we just showed in her prelay shed.
Let's see what else.
I love those
This
perches.
is
Joe's female. This is Joe Savius.
This is Joey Sambia's female.
Oh my
Yellow girl
god!
from OS lineage. Really nice. She's a nice big girl. And her date is this high yellow boy, which is also from OS and Dream Lemon lineage. Next room.
Yeah, we can go in here.
No! Wait, no! Not the next
You guys
room.
sound like robots.
No.
So
No! Stop! No!
Stop.
Stop!
I heard stop.
Yes, he heard me. Okay,
I can
we're
hear
not there yet. I'm sorry, We're not there yet. He was going to go to the other room. We're not done talking about the lineages yet.
I really can't hear you well, MJ.
Okay, hold on. Flip it
I
around.
hear you better with the.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's up?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good now. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Before we get to the actual like meat and potatoes, I want to talk about the lineages and stuff. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Come back over here.
You're a little robot-y right now. Let's give it a second.
Hey, you might need to exit out and go back in. Exit out and go back in.
I can hear
Exit
you.
out. Okay, you sure?
I'm gonna exit out anyway. So guys.
Yeah. Do that. Do that.
All right.
Stop.
You have no idea what other room he's about to walk into. It would just completely we wouldn't talk about chondros no more. And we're not done with chondros yet. Like I need more. Go. So how do you say it? Someone tell me now so I don't make that mistake again. Lineage? What is it? I said it.
Lineage.
Linguini. All right.
Wonder why.
Let's see.
Testing.
Or
Still
Jake.
getting a little feedback.
It'll kick in. It should start working here in a second. Cool. How do we sound?
Yeah, sounds good now.
Good now.
All right. Go. Okay. Woo. Thank you guys. I'm so sorry to stop you from going inside that room, but if we were to go inside that room, you have no idea. We wouldn't be talking about chondros anymore. And we're not done about chondros. Unfortunately, I have a couple more questions regarding the your taste in all this. As far as I want to know, are you somebody who works specific with certain designers, or are you just a visual breeder? Like you just look and say, "Fuck it, I want to breed these two," or how's your breeding plan?
Well, the bloodlines definitely help, but phenotypically is I look for the animal that actually expressed those phenotypes,
Right.
And if it's out of an animal that expressed them and maybe it's not as nice an animal, it still could express it, but it needs to be linked up to the right animals to reproduce it. But I mean, I like to try to get the nicest animals I can, phenotypically. But if it doesn't work out, there's nice surprises with 2 green snakes. So, I mean, basically, it's just trial and error. But when you have those proven lineages that would produce like blue or black or high yellow, it's good to have them. But it's also good to make your own stuff to add to those,
So out of all the different designer lineages, which one do you think you say were your favorite or like your main focus?
Anything blue, black, or yellow.
All of them.
Like I'll take it all. I mean,
I like this guy.
It's a good
I have a whole bunch of it, so it's like, I mean, I had more, but there, as we could talk about whenever you want, that things happen, and I have snakes that came and went, and at sometimes you have some really expansive lineages, and then other times I'm like, shit, like that, what happened with that Andrew Amon male, and I lost the female at the same time. That was like within the same season that my Boelens python female like died, and I was just like, really, like this year is like, it's just one thing, another thing. So,
well, charge it to the game, James. You know how it is.
All I can say is that when I had the option to buy a trio, like I should have bought a trio of Boelens pythons, because I mean, I can imagine in a million years that snake would die, and I think it just something burst, but it's shit happens, and if it, it's like Murphy's Law with snakes. If shit's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
I mean, really, regardless of what happens, good or bad, like things come in waves, I feel like. And James, I feel like your background, like what you've already done prior to what's happened recently, has like, it's never, an animal passing away is never going to overshadow all the accomplishments you've had with the chondros and other animals that you've been working with. It just, it just happens, it's like you said, these things just die. Like they just die.
Well, it's like when you do take care of a large amount of animals,
yeah,
like everybody has a dog. Not everybody has to go through losing a dog like 30 times, because it's like, in your life you have like what, 2 dogs, 3 dogs, it's like, I got a lot of snakes. It's like, these things come and they do go, and it's like, if I had tortoises, I'd be like the most successful, nothing died. It's like,
I have a question.
What's up?
So Trooper Walsh, and they had those like blue markers, like that smudge
marker?
Yeah, like for blue snakes. I don't know. I remember this.
The ink spot?
Yeah, like that.
The ink spot?
Oh, you're talking about red ink spots, like they're on a snake that's blue?
Yeah, I think so. I was just wondering if you knew about that, or you still see that around, or if that's been like bred out.
I mean, I've seen red on blue snakes.
Crazy Lucy female.
Even I think this girl right here. You know what the weird?
Yeah, they have like a distinctive marker on them that it's a Trooper Walsh animal. If they have this like smudge mark on them.
I couldn't say that. I mean, all I know is that there are blue snakes that you'll definitely see. Like Tim Moore's produced one. It had it was like ink spot or something, but
yeah,
it literally had a red ink spot on its head or back. It was, in multiple animals I've seen that have a lot of line, but I couldn't say that there's one in particular.
Do you have the Trooper Wall blue line stuff?
I mean, that's some of the most extensive blue line. That's essentially the stuff that Tim produced all the, the first blue animals with. Right? So,
and you do have Trooper Walsh blue.
Yeah, in many animals that are blue, that are not blue, that are, they look like a hybrid, just different things. But I mean, I don't know. That's the primary source of a lot of the blue blood. So that, I mean, after Tim worked with it, it's in quite a bit. I mean, all these bloodlines were focused. You know a little bit more about the blue blood as far as where they went with it from the beginning.
Yeah.
So let me hear it, man.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Andy.
Break it
Use
down.
your words, Andy.
Well, yeah. Well, with from what I understand, I'm just a big freak when it comes to knowing lineages and what have you. So I know a few things, but not the whole story. But
Right on.
after Tim kind of established the line and got it going, and Mr. Blue began producing animals and expanded that lineage, the blue animals were more prevalent in more collections. There's many collections now that have a blue snake in it more than ever, I think. I haven't been in it too long, but I would think that the line has been refined and been outcrossed, and there's more examples of blue line animals away from, the super concentrated blue line animals in some cases. There's some people, that breed for percentages, and then, others that are, doing their due diligence to outcross and all that. And it's kind of been found that you can produce blue snakes in a lot of ways. And, some of Dave D's clutches are, an example of that. But yeah, I'd say that a lot of the blue line stuff that's out now, you can find a lot of blue animals with very diverse trees, in my opinion. But
Hey, Andy, can you give me the background on this female right here? I'm assuming that's a female.
Is that one of James's animals, or that could be a Tim Morris animal?
I think that's mine. I think that's one of the Vinsky females. I can't see it too. I think it's a Vinsky animal. Unless that's Tim's, the one that destroyed the fucking junk on my Andrew Heyman mail.
I'm not too sure which snake that is. I recognize the picture, but
that's Rosie. That's Rosie.
What's it? Is there a caption, MJ?
No caption. Super, just like. Oh yeah, there's a caption. All curled up.
What?
Is that on James?
No, that's not. That wouldn't be mine.
Yeah, it is. Wait, it's on your page. It's on caption.
It says all curled up.
Is that one?
That's all it says. All curled up. Was that you?
I don't know. I mean, talk about stating the obvious. I mean,
hashtags are green tree python, clearly. Hashtag is blue, clearly. Hashtag is snakes, clearly. Hashtag is python, clearly. That's it. That's all we got. Nothing else.
It's probably on James's elusive hard drive.
Yes, the hard drive of doom.
Looks like an OG.
I'm not too sure about that one, MJ. Sorry.
Now, okay, I do want to ask about this
hormonal blue,
because this one has crazy colors, and it's kind of everything you explained, because this is nuts.
That's Lagatha. That's James can talk about it.
That's disco right there.
Yeah, party time.
That animal was put on loan with Christian Stewart at the barn, and she produced a clutch with Sirac, and that's where the blue and black and yellow necked girl here is from.
That's the best snake I ever produced, man. I mean, but that animal's gone on to produce. I don't know. That's pretty sick.
That's
too,
the best one I've ever looked at.
If
I could ever,
like she turned mostly blue and black.
Yeah,
but wow,
this is nuts. This is insane.
Yeah, she was a killer.
It's from a super diverse lineage as well.
So how dark of a red was that Neo?
It was like brick red, and then it just turned black.
Damn.
Like, damn, this is the nastiest thing. I mean, some animals turn black, like, and then they turn freaking green. I mean, I had
Jason Stevens.
Yeah,
everything
turned
black. Not like
was
that.
Black, and then it turned blue, and then it turned green.
Should I show the snake?
Yeah. It just
so this snake turned completely black as a yearling, and then went through a crazy change, and this is what it looks like now.
That thing was black, and then it was blue, and then it was like that. Like, really?
Go full screen.
Looks like a Maru. It's cool though. I like the flowers, The white.
He's probably not going to hear us now. Go sideways.
Go
There we go.
vertically.
I like this dude. He's so sick.
But, yeah. So.
All right, I'm going to show you one more Neo before I have a serious question about.
So Desiree, you were talking about Trooper Walsh's blood, but like so much of this stuff, like evolved from that original blood. I mean, but like if you take an animal like that for instance, though, I mean that is like a pure mortality animal, and the sickest animal. I mean, she is older than dirt, but she's like, you know, her mouth is all fucked up and she has trouble with her teeth. I think she's like 20-something years old, but
and she's still
she produced 2 clutches.
Oh,
but I mean, I'm trying to breed her. I mean, it's funny. She had a cyst in her chest, and I've been draining it because at first I thought it was a tumor, but it's a cyst, and I have to drain it like once a month. And it's an ongoing trouble with some animals. Some are completely trouble-free, and then others are just like, fuck, man, this thing's beating the life out of me.
literally. Oh my God, this is sick.
Yeah, but like, I mean,
this is like that Lagatha baby.
Oh wow, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
Let me see if I can see it over here. Are we losing him again?
Oh, we're here. I was just letting you.
Moving too fast, I think.
Yeah.
And that could be the boyfriend, but
I'm gonna exit out of this.
yeah, see if I'll reboot. Dude, that female looks like she wants to shed tonight, and
we're still on.
okay, but that one,
We're still here. Damn, that was sick.
Hey, MJ, I'm gonna exit out and come back. You sound like an alien.
All right. Yeah, thank you, dude.
Wow.
Hey, you want to trip out? Those sick ass enclosures that we're looking at, he fucking built all those, dude. He built all those enclosures. You see the herp stat, it's built into the enclosure. Damn it.
That's legit, yeah.
Damn, bro. Check out this red one. Oh, I'm gonna ask what this red one's all about. Oh my God. I just want to hatch a red one like that so bad, guys. That's like one of my dreams before I leave this place. Hatch a brick red Neo. Here he is.
you could get a whole clutch of them, you know. That's the goal.
I hope so.
Not just one. I mean, I'll take one. That's, you know, one is better than none. If it looks like that, I'll take one.
Hey, what's up with this Neo right here? Because this thing looks outstanding as well. What's the background on this Neo?
That animal was amazing. That was a Rodney Miller production, and it was from that was an October animal.
Oof.
That was
I think we had one of those.
October.
it was Black Junior to Blue Pepper. So that bloodline is like high black. Was it? It was Black Junior.
Black Junior.
Yeah, Black Junior to Blue Pepper. So they bred it back to the mom.
That's so dreamy, dude.
But it was one of my best females. But you know, you get them. I got it perfectly to the point of ready to breed. Gonna breed it, and then it's like, Dad, what the hell? You know, it's like that. It happens. So animals never sick a day of its life, and then you know, tragedy struck.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to bring that up before we get out of the topic of chondros, because I mean, this is something where probably the one thing Forrest told me before he left, I mean, well before he left, that just really aggravated me, because I was like, what the hell does he mean by this? but I kind of understand him. But one time he told me, bro, everything has nido. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, your animals have nido. I guarantee your animals have nido. And the more I looked into nido, I was realizing, wow, nido is a real fucking thing. Like this is serious. Like there's really nido. And I want to know if you've had any run-in with nido. And if you have, like, what did you do?
It's like herpes for snakes, I guess.
Herpes, that's bad. Okay.
Yeah, it's like sometimes they're shedding it, sometimes they're, Dude, I don't know much about it other than that. I'm sure a lot of people have it. I've had it. I have a whole quarantine building, like a separate, like an hour from here, because I don't want it to come back in here. But I'm not throwing those snakes, to the wind. I've taken some other people's animals, and I think that, I think like Cody produced the clutch, and they're still testing negative 3 years later.
That's
So,
awesome.
I mean, there's some merit in that. By no means is that like a scientific, positive, you can do it, but I'm going to try. I mean, I might as well. I have so much invested in, what I've been trying to produce, but it's just,
It's the nido.
It's something else, The crypto is just as bad. Don't get that. I mean, all these things can kill your animals, and it's just if it's not one thing, it's another thing. So it's like just embrace it. It's like do the best you can. To try to keep everything sterile. And I mean, there's super protocols involved in getting that eradicated if it's in your collection. So, I mean, what would you? I don't know a lot on the subject of the actual disease. So
let me ask you this. James. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry, but let me ask you this. So you have people. I mean, obviously, more podcasts as we come out, nido keeps getting brought up. Nido is obviously something that more people are hearing about it, right? So if someone says, fuck it, I need to get something tested, right? They have a room full of snakes. They get maybe a handful tested, and maybe one of those snakes comes back positive, right? Does that whole room stay where it's at and just don't add anything more? Or do you just remove that snake that came back positive?
First and foremost, I'd remove the snake, and then I would test everything else in the whole room. Again and again. I mean, that's because you're not going to get it all on one.
Yeah.
So you have to do multiple tests, try multiple agencies to test from. Fish Head and RAL are the two that I use. I mean, because I can get a whole bunch done very quickly, and then I can retest all the other animals. So it's like if you're doing a double test, I mean, you're going to use one the first time you swab, I use another the next time I swab, but if animals come back on both profiles as testing positive, the test is working. I wouldn't even say anything about one or the other, but both of those places have been doing, good job.
Yeah. Well, after, befriending and becoming really close friends with Socrates, shout out to Socrates, he's really implanted like, yo, man, test your stuff. You should get it tested. So I got my stuff. I got like 6 animals tested. And I remember I got the results.
It gets expensive.
I got the results back. They're all negative. So I lost my shit. I was about to throw a party. I thought it was all fucking great. And then he's like, hey, bro, don't forget, I told you should get it tested like 2 or 3 times. And I was what? I don't fucking remember you telling me that. And he did. I have ADD, so I just skipped listening to that. And that was heartbreaking. Yeah, because he was like, he tells me like he's taught me so much about like, protocols and like shit I should do, because I do have a room full of chondros, good amount of emerald trees, I have a good amount of stuff that should be tested, and I got my 6 eldest animals I keep in this room tested, the ones I've had the longest, and they all came back negative, and I got super stoked. But then I literally forgot when we talked about this. He told me you need to get it tested at least 2 or 3 times. Which I just completely forgot. So it fucking sucked. It really just was shit on my parade. And I haven't got them tested again. Could
have been worse. It could have been positive.
Yeah. Basically, they're all, put it this way.
True.
If you don't bring anything else in, they're all already together. But I mean, use the protocols as if they're all. I mean, just 24/7 with your whole collection, positives or not. Use the protocol that everything is positive. That's the safest way, you know.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, otherwise, obviously the transmission is. I don't know what the exact way is, water or what, but you know, they can get it from another one. So, I mean, just trying to use those protocols is the best thing. Even if you don't have anything else coming in, then just keep it closed until you test everything. I would keep it closed until you test everything anyhow. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's a good protocol right there. You know what I mean? Like, don't add anything unless everything's tested. You know what I mean? And if you do add, keep in a separate room. You know what I mean? For the
you have another room with a whole other separate set of everything for something coming into a collection. You know, I mean, basically, it's like you need a BioGuard against everything that you're touching. You know, now, especially with like crypto, I think is much more deadly.
Right now, is crypto something that could just pop up in a well-seasoned collection, even if you had it for a while, haven't added anything? Can crypto still pop up?
That I do not know. I mean, I hope not.
Fuck. No shit.
No, just not. I mean, I would say probably it could. I mean, if these are things naturally occurring, and if it takes 3 tests to, you know, come up with a positive NIDO result, I mean, who knows? I mean, anything's possible. So just treat everything as if, you know, the glove treatment.
Oh yeah, gloves. Gloves are huge.
Right? You can, like, it's like you have like a black market now.
Yeah. So gloves used to be like $200 to supply the rodent team, and now it's like $600. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's unbelievable. Like, it went from $5 a box to $25 a box for fucking gloves.
Good thing Cold Blood is booming.
Yeah.
The gloves are probably all in a big shipping container in quarantine because of COVID from China. I mean, I would say that's where most of them are. I mean, we just need to get a shipping container full.
Well, Des, also, I think you're paying premium price for the black ones. If you just get the regular see-through ones,
that's all of them. I get the cheapest ones.
I'm just kidding.
But they do have to be 4 mil because
they have to be rat proof.
They have to be rat proof.
If they're not rat proof, what's the point?
Oh, so they're rat proof.
Dude, they should come out with a line of condoms, dude. That'd be nasty.
Oh my god.
Rat proof condoms? Oh my god.
Rat proof, bitch.
Biggest fight against STDs, herpes, this rat proof condom. This shit's gonna sell out.
Oh yeah.
Well, I appreciate you giving the insight on the NIDO and you know the crypto, because you know at the end of the day everyone has their own experience with it, and you know I you know it's always good to have that information get put out there. And at the end of the day, it's pretty simple. Whatever you have in your room, if it's not tested, don't add shit more. Just get it tested.
The thing with all these viruses is, like, certain groups of animals seem to be more affected by certain viruses than others. Like, you know, and Cryptosporidium is not necessarily a virus, but you know, it seems like historically, other than emerald tree boas, colubrids, and geckos, nothing really dies from crypto. But in theory, like 80% of reptile collections have crypto. So a lot of these other healthy animals could be carrying that in their gut in a level where it won't suppress their immune system. But something like a leopard gecko gets it and boom, crash, dead. An emerald tree boa, regurge, dead. Like, you just gotta know what you're working with.
I often, sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to say that I've often thought that maybe that the natural fauna or flora rather inside of the gut of like wild caught chondros is why they fucking thrive. Like, anything bad gets into their system, you have natural, you know, whatever the hell comes into the country with those things. It's like we deworm all these animals and shit, and any little internal parasites. You know, there's got to be some sort of reason why they're there. You know, I mean, they lived for millions of years with them. So if they're coming out of the wild with them, is it like, you know, is there some sort of a symbiotic relationship why you get like stuff like regurg and it's just fucking a myriad of other problems. What if we're taking away like what's actually keeping them in balance?
And we probably are. I mean, the debate between bioactive and sterile, I don't think there'll ever be a winner necessarily, but in that sterile setup, in the wild they're building up all those immunities from running over shit every day. There's something to be said for taking that away, potentially being a negative, and we keep our chondros pretty sterile. So
well, I would like to have, for me, I would like to have some bioactive environments. I think I would definitely be able to do it properly.
Yeah.
But for like a chondro, you would need one that's at least 4 feet by 6 feet by 2 feet deep, in order to have enough space to actually, have a bioactive environment for an animal that large.
So, James, I had Cody on, shout out to Cody Bartolini, on my other channel for 4 hours.
He's Captain Bioactive.
Yeah. No, so check this out. So we had a great conversation about, people keeping chondros and whatnot, but then he's like, he was pushing the fact of why do you keep a chondro in a plastic container with hangers when it should be in its natural, like put it in a bioactive is what he's saying. Like, and I'm like, what? I was like, that's not, I don't recommend that for anyone who's first off just getting into chondros. But then, like you said, I just feel like it's an extra step you would have to take, and it's extra responsibility you'd have to keep an eye on every single day, especially if you have any, more than a handful of chondros. You know what I mean? So,
well, for somebody like that's exactly it. I couldn't have like 40 bioactive enclosures for my snakes, and unless I could, and then that's like my goal, But it's like it's not realistic, It's like it took enough work just to build all these enclosures and not have them bioactive. It's like, I could once they're established, but they're too small. Like you need, like I said, you need like a warehouse if I had that,
Right.
Right. You've got like a warehouse, right?
They
you guys got killer animals over there. You have the Abronia,
right?
The scrubs. You guys got. I want to hear like some about your scrubs and stuff and the Abronia. Can we talk about some of that? I mean,
yeah, of course.
Well,
actually, let me hear it because I see some of the stuff on the Abronia and how's it going with the collection?
It's going good. We haven't got any babies yet, but we have a couple girls we think are gonna go this year, so that's good. I would say we've collaborated with the Abronia Alliance, and we've decided to let some go there. We're gonna let some go to Cody. We've let some go to some other places. So we're trying to like diversify the different species out there.
So
we're kind of like narrow it down.
Localities?
Yeah.
Are you gonna give certain localities to certain people so like they focus on those?
Exactly.
Oh, that's good. Cool.
Yeah.
And just so they're not all in the same location either, let's say something runs through our Abronia collection and we'll them all out. They were all here as opposed to pair here, pair there, 3 here, 4 there, we're like, we can then dial in a smaller group and 5 other people dial in smaller groups too, as opposed to one giant group that we don't have enough time to pay very specific attention to each individual animal.
And when you all come together, you can be like, Abronia.
Exactly.
Yeah, they already have
a form of Abronia.
Alliance. They already have an alliance. It's pretty awesome. The Abronia Alliance. So it's they're like superheroes. It's pretty awesome.
Dude, I'd make that cartoon. I'd be
for sure.
Watching it.
I'd be down.
Hell yeah.
Well, we already had a cartoon.
You're like lizard saving superheroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. We need to do it.
Bring Carl back.
Carl.
Hey, now, James. Okay. I do want to say I don't want Steven to give you too much scrub information because tomorrow he's gonna be on Trap Talk to MJ. So He is going.
Moluccans in his hands.
Yeah,
Damn.
look at that
I
thumbnail.
miss my Moluccans, man.
One of the hardest thumbnails I've ever got to make. I'm not even joking.
That's killer, man.
Yeah. So Steven, I call not only me, but there's also I think I googled it one time and it said Stephen Cush, King Scrub King, and I was like, "What? You're a Scrub King?" Steven, he's like, "I've never said that," and I was like, "No, it says it right here." So he's been the Scrub King since 2019.
I haven't Googled it, so I can't confirm that. So.
I Google everything, and I trust Google for everything.
You own that domain.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, go ahead, break down. So, give him some Moluccan talk real quick, Kush. Come on.
Some Moluccan talk. They're. I feel like in 5 years we'll be talking about them on the same level as Boelens pythons. I feel like, Andy, you got a Moluccan, a really nice one at that.
Yep.
And they just, there have been there's been like 2 imported in the last 3 years that I know of.
The quotas on the CITES database, it's just been dropping since 2015.
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard, there was a zero quota in 2020. So, captive breeding, and as is with almost all Indonesian reptiles, is imperative. But really, there aren't a lot of people who have these animals, and I think they've been probably bred less than Boelens pythons historically, if I have that right. And the way
a lot less Moluccans
less
than
beautiful
Boelens have been produced.
Yeah. So, and for the prices that these snakes are demanding now, unfortunately, it seems like in our hobby, the higher price tag something has, the more popularity it draws. So,
Reals.
and who doesn't love a snake that's like Laker, gold and purple.
Right.
Visually, it's kind of hard to beat them. So, they're my favorite snake. Total. We have a pretty good group of them over here. Not where I'd like it to be, but I'm not going to complain in the slightest. So
we can't get any more scrubs unless they're Moluccans.
You need to relax.
Or BX or Oxabills, but
I think you've got the biggest group in the country.
What's that?
I think you've got the biggest group of class lepus in the country.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
How
But
many adults
I don't
do you
even
have?
know how many you have.
we have 5.2.
Wow.
Adults?
We 2.2 adults and then 3 juvenile males.
Nice. All males came in, huh?
It seems like they're all males.
Man. You might need them, dude. I mean, dude, I had a beautiful pair, and I mean, like you said, shit happens. But
Yeah.
I think you should send one of the 2 pairs in case something happens over here, man. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to send your Boelens over here,
What's that?
if you want to send your Boelens pythons over here, we'll send you those.
Steven still wouldn't give it up. I don't think.
I don't like that trade.
Nope. We didn't do it.
Pythons.
Bro, you understand what the Moluccans are to Steven, right? That's like giving away Lars. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, come on.
Well, I only have the one. I mean, that's why I said I wish I had a trio.
Well, you should send yours to Steven. That makes sense.
I'll send you mine if you send me those 2.
Hey, that's
And
cool.
I barely do that. No, I do need, I need to find a home for the Boelens. Obviously I got to get paid, but I'm going to need to either find a female. I mean, he's going on 7, so he's like prime. So I either need to find a female or I need to get him to somebody who has a female that's going to use.
Yeah.
Message us after the show on a serious note. I have an idea. I don't know if it materialized or not, but we have a very legitimate idea on how that male could be put to good use. So
you guys got to see that male in the other room.
Sure do.
Let's do it. It's time.
It's time.
It's the Boelens time.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Steve?
Once we switch the camera around, it gets a little choppy and we can't hear you guys so well. So
Yeah, it's all good.
It's your turn. Take over.
Yeah, you could just exit out when you want to when you're done.
I will, but get on in there and show us around.
All right, you got the floor, doggy.
Hey, I'm not there yet. Let's see. You're good to go.
Yeah, we're out.
We're
Okay.
good.
Well, anyhow, these are the Boelens pythons enclosures. This was for the female, and this is the male. They're 4 feet by 4 feet by 2 feet deep. The plan was to connect them so they could utilize both sides when I was going to introduce them. However, they utilize these enclosures with these large hollow logs. If you want to come and look at the male.
So that's the male.
You're like back
away.
out a little, like all the way over there for a minute.
In case he jumps out looking for food.
Well, just so you can see the whole thing in context, how big this hollowed out tree is, and then you can come in where the female originally made this nest. But that's the male. He utilizes the same hide, and then he goes up to bask up under the UVB every day.
So what James did with the nest is he just poured a bunch of sphagnum and different types of mosses, mulch, what have you in there, and she kind of, dug it out and made her own little spot in there. So.
Well, I can see if I can maybe. Come on. Come on, bud. Come on, buddy.
Are you guys seeing this? Are you watching this?
An herb first.
Right.
That's one of the sickest tree stumps I've ever seen.
Come on, bud. I got you. Nice.
I'm going to give you a hand in here.
I got him.
Intense.
It's Mr. Boelens.
He's definitely on the cool side. There's no heat down there. So he goes down there to sleep.
This is his little hollowed out area that he burrowed in.
They're awfully huffy, these guys. I got you, buddy. But he's real docile. Even when you're, messing with him. He's never tried to bite. He's hit the glass, though. He did hit the glass hard on a feeding response. So he comes up every morning when I missed, and he'll come up here. And he'll bask up here for hours. And it has a radiant heat panel up there. It's close to where he perches, so he does touch it, but he's never burned himself.
That is
Right now,
badass.
it's probably around like 72 down here. It's like 80.
That is so
80
sick. How sick is that setup?
right now.
It's really cool.
I love that tree stump. That is nuts.
Yeah, these are pretty neat things that I get to find around here.
Yeah, James builds all these enclosures, and I'm having him make some Lukens.
That's the male white lip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Nice. Gorgeous.
I'm
You breed
surprised
those
the
as well?
females not around.
Do you breed those, James?
Sorry?
Do you breed the white lips as well?
I
Nice.
haven't. This is like the first pair that I've been experimenting with. They seem to be doing really well. The female is in here, but I think she's done.
Back corner.
Oh yeah, she's right up here. She's a monster feeder. The male, not so much. I mean, he ate once, and then he's just been chilling for a couple of months. But he's just as heavy as he was the day he came. So,
Timors?
oh yeah, I got the Timors
Timors?
as well.
Did I hear
Yeah.
Timors? Did I hear
Yeah.
Timors? Did I hear Timors? Oh man, I need documentation. I want background information. Let's go. Oh wow.
This is one of your females?
That's a female. Oh, sorry, that's a male.
That's fire.
Did we lose them?
No, they just
Where
Yeah, so this one
where'd
is
you
starting
get-
to
where'd you
like
get
really color up.
Where'd you get this one from, James?
I got this one from Joe,
Son of a bitch.
and I got to get them somewhere before people who just have a bunch of money buy them all up.
You don't want to know.
I mean, that's just
you don't wanna
crazy
know what
that
he's
that's what like boosts up the price.
You don't want to know what they're going
This
for
is
right
really
now.
beautiful. This one's beautiful. So this one has some good yellow on it.
How many Timors do you keep, James?
very nice.
Yeah, he can't hear.
So I don't mind going from the Boelens to this guy because I'm pretty confident the Boelens is not a problem. But these are still in quarantine in here. This whole room basically, it's just nothing's coming in or
Check.
coming out of here. So everything's
you-
tested multiple times.
Andy Middleton. Can you hear me, Andy Middleton?
I can hear you a little bit, MJ, but you're a little alienish.
How many Timors does he have?
How many Timors do you have, James?
I've got 4, just a male and 3 females.
Respect.
Yeah, I mean they all pretty much look like that.
There's Mr. James's incubator.
Oh, you got the incubator's not set up yet.
Andy, can you hear me?
Basically this is a scientific incubator. Gallon cans.
Andy, can you hear me?
It's all completely empty. It needs to be all cleaned out. But I have all the water bottles and stuff in there. Just to, so it doesn't do a super heat dump. Oh, so there's that guy again.
That's
I think
God,
that's basically it for this, right?
that's such a sick enclosure. I can't get over it.
Hmm.
Maybe we get the signal
Oh
back.
boy.
Yeah.
That
I find like once I flip to the back camera, it's not that good.
Time
I
to
think it's
exit.
when it does that transition. It's like on such a delay, it can't catch up when we walk out there. Probably, right?
How do we sound? Do we sound
I'm
okay?
gonna exit out and come back.
Sounds about right.
All right.
Dude,
You're doing this from a phone?
he's sort of, dude, he has no Wi. His Wi-Fi is really, really bad. And like, we don't have a choice. We were doing a sound check. The only thing that would work, it was Andy's cell phone service. So, unfortunately, if you don't have solid ass fucking Wi-Fi, we have to go through stuff like that. But our guess is more solid than anyone's Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? So, just who cares, right? It is what it is. They're back.
All right.
James,
Still can't hear you guys.
you hear us now, player? Okay.
All right. I guess that's the answer.
Steven, are you
How
ready?
about
Huh?
That was nice.
How about that Boelens?
Dude, how about
What
fucking,
a biggin.
so imagine having a fire ass female and it dies after it ovulates. Terrible. We're gonna hear more about it. I'm sorry, I'm just spoiled the fucking story right now, but basically, I'm gonna shut up. No, I'm not.
Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. No, I'm not.
James, you
What's
there?
going on?
Yeah, man,
All right.
solid. Okay, so amazing room, amazing fucking enclosures that you built. The stump, wooden stump. I ain't never seen some shit like that in my entire life. That is, I mean, I've seen a stump, but not an enclosure.
Wow.
And I'm just really throwing back on how you designed all those enclosures. I mean, did you just grow up with that craft, knowing how to build stuff, or did you teach yourself?
Dude, the funny thing is like I had no interest in building furniture until I had snakes. And like then I was like, yo, I gotta build shit for my snakes, and basically taught myself how to do woodworking. And then I was like, yo, I could like do some crazy shit with this.
And what kind of wood is those enclosures made out of?
That all of that wood is either furniture grade 3/4 inch thick maple plywood, and then I make my own veneers out of like locally milled maple, solid maple, for all my face frames and framing and veneers and everything.
Wow.
And you
So we
didn't.
mill the lumber, everything.
So your dad wasn't a lumberjack or anything. Like you weren't raised in like the woodery or anything.
Woodery.
Yeah, woodery. Bring me a woodery.
I just pulled that out of my butt. Okay, so obviously, James, your male is mint. My God, that is a gorgeous breeder ready Boelens male that you had.
He was breeding her like she was, dude. She blew up like a balloon, man. And I cycled them down to like 63 degrees or 60 degrees even.
Yeah, you might have broken into the
even
50s.
even into the high 50s, and she stayed in that hide in that log for like weeks at a time, and then she'd come out and you just be like, holy shit, like just big.
She was massive.
I mean, off feed completely. Like there had to have been an ovulation that dude, like I need a probe. I need like fiber optic cameras to go like into that nest and videotape that shit that goes on in there, because like she reformed, she covered, and I never saw how she did it, but she'd take all the sphagnum moss, and I would make it so it was something good that she could work with. She'd go in there, and the next day you couldn't even see her, dude. Like it was so packed. I have video trying to like find her. She covered the whole of the den and everything and make like a damn nest.
That's so cool.
It was like crazy stuff that, there's so much to learn about all these things. All of them, those Moluccans, man, those are probably harder than the Boelens. I mean, I had a pair of them that were like gorgeous, huge adults breeding, and same thing. Like it wasn't the same thing, but the male after breeding died, and it was a really fucked up way that he died. And then
his dick?
The female died soon after.
I don't think it could be more fucked up than that.
Yeah,
I watched him die. Like, have you ever seen? It's like
you watched him die.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
terrible.
What happens is sometimes something happens with an animal, like renal failure or whatever happens. You can see when the animal is panicked and it's not doing what it normally is doing, and you're just like, yo, it's dying. And like that's what happened with this animal. And the same thing with the Boelens python. I found her in serious distress, roaming the cage frantically, and within an hour she was dead. Like there's nothing you could do. Like it was, snake is dying.
My heart, Mama, no.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. The weird thing is, I felt with the Moluccan python, the scrubs, if there is anything I could add to that scenario, is that I feel that the adults need somewhat of a temperature change from when they're like subadult neos. Like what I found was, I think they were too warm adults. And what that might have had something to do with it, but I couldn't say. All I know is that I think these larger bodied animals have much different needs as they mature. It's like, it's that little piddly snake that was a foot long or 2 feet long or whatever is now like 20 pounds and 13 feet long. It's it's like it's a radiator, so it can also absorb, like, you know, so like it's hard. You have to make sure like you give them those options.
Now, James, is it true that your female was like gravid, or she even ovulated and then she passed away? Is that correct?
I think, I'm assuming that there already was an ovulation, or the distress was during the ovulation. Something was ruptured. There may something with the follicles. Maybe she had too much body fat. You know, I've had females that, you know, you do a necropsy on them and they have too much body fat. I mean, a lot of body fat. It's like, you know, it's taking up volume of space. Like, it's just, you know, it's not just me. I had, you know, a lot of other people have snakes that maybe, I don't know, how do you stimulate a snake to exercise? Like, come up with some ideas, because I think
outside activities.
Yeah.
So many activities.
Hanging.
Oh my God.
Let it loose. Just kidding. Don't.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, when I take them out in the good weather and I do a pump sprayer on the grass, those things always drop a deuce. Guaranteed.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Nikolai shit.
Got to tickle it out sometimes.
All the time.
That's not what I said.
There he does.
Now, James, how big was the female and the male when you first inquired them? Like, when they first arrived with you, were they hatchlings? Did you raise these up?
I got them from Michael Cole, and the male was a year old and the female was probably like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I raised them up, and it was so cool, man, watching those things. I mean, they were like orange and red. The male had already changed a good bit. It was more black, but she outgrew him, man. She was like a beast. I mean, dude, I've never seen that thing was a picture of health. That's like, it was glowing, you know. And then to have that happen, I was like, we were very close, I feel. And I just I wish I had more to work with, but it's like, you know, like you guys were saying before, it's like, why does something have to get so fucking expensive and then you get into it because it's expensive? What the fuck is that stupidity?
Stupid.
You know, it's like
stupid.
Something I'd want to, you know, it's like.
I blame the fucking radio. I blame the radio station, and I blame MTV. That's exactly what happened.
I need it.
Damn,
My
mainstream.
heart.
But I want it.
Steven's like, what's MTV?
Holy shit.
Now, James, before we get off the topic with Boelens, do you really feel that it's not like, I mean, if you had a good group of Boelens, do you feel like you would have already a clutch by now? Like, or even, let's say the female didn't pass on you, that you would already have some sort of results by now?
No, because obviously, even with the two I had, it was a failure. So if I had more or less, I mean, it didn't matter. It would have been a failure because whatever I was doing. But I mean, I'm sure. I mean, numbers help, but you know, I wish I had a trio. At least I would have the option right now if I was not stupid and bought a trio. You know, I would have another chance. But
right,
you know, right now I think it's hopefully somebody who has a female, because he was a go-to breeder. I mean, he did his job. I just you know, something I did wrong. I don't know. I think maybe the temps were potentially too low. That could be it. I mean, technically, wouldn't you think if I did drop the temps too low, there's that potential for the ovulation to try to reverse if the temperatures weren't ideal for it to. Yeah, I mean, maybe there was reabsorption and there was some sort of a rupture due to that. I mean, I feel like something ruptured in her. I mean, when this was going on, it sucked. But it's documentation of an event that happened to these animals while attempting to make it a successful species to reproduce in captivity. So every failure is telling you something.
And I could tell you right now, everyone here appreciates your story, what you just told. I can tell you that right now. That experience right there, I'll never forget that. Especially the dick getting ripped off. I'm never gonna forget that. Who that? I'm gonna probably dream about it tonight. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Now,
dude, that board, it was like the most indignified thing I've ever seen happen to an animal. I was like, fuck.
It's crazy.
I feel for you.
All right, now I have to ask, man, the collaboration right here, Andy and James. How the fuck did you, James or Andy? You're lucky, bro. I mean, you're seriously lucky to be working with a guy like this. And James is lucky too. I will say that because, I mean, I'm just saying, great collab right here. But how the hell did you guys meet? I got to know.
Met through Sean, who was a mutual friend, and Andy. I went to a couple of shows and met Andy, and then he came here to purchase an animal.
Right.
So yeah, I came here to buy an animal, and then I was just expecting to see a dude with a couple green trees, and I walk into this basement, and it's green tree heaven. Something beyond my wildest imaginations. The first, I'm coming to put a down payment on a snake, and I see my first solid blue chondro, mite fillies, high yellows. I mean, and then the blue maniquari girl. It doesn't get much better than that. So, once I came here, I was hooked, and then
usually got to travel for that kind of shit.
Yeah, you usually got to go a long ways for that kind of stuff. Seeing Boelens pythons, I was just freaking out, and turns out I live 20 minutes away from him, and ever since then, I've been coming over weekly, twice a week to give him a hand with, all the shit shows that pop up with a large amount of animals. And
he's seen some shit now, man.
I bet.
So
it's like, stuff that prolapse back in there, boy.
Yes.
James has been a pivotal dude to have in my corner.
I'm Captain Prolapse.
I had my first prolapse. I brought it over here, and he got it all squared away. And he's been called the Cloaca Commander ever since. So, James has been an invaluable person to have in my corner to, help me get on the right track and put together the collection I'm trying to put together. So, I'm super lucky to have somebody like James 20 minutes away, and somebody to welcome in me and trust me to, do what I do with these animals. Can't get that anywhere else. So
I got somebody that lives near me that likes snakes, man. That's like
fucking, it's hard to find that. It really is. I mean, I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
it's cool though. No, there's a couple of people around, but it's like Andy fucking is invaluable to fucking assist me, man. It's like real snakes will just do bullshit things to you, man, and I appreciate that. You're willing to come over, and when I call you, I'm like, hey man, do you want to help me stick the snake's ass back in?
Trust me, you won't regret it.
It's gonna be awesome. It's working knowledge.
Well, dude, I mean, because at the end of the day, the more craziest fucking shit you're exposed to, the more you're immune to it. Nothing else will really shock you. So it's kind of like you almost want to get pushed to that limit.
No,
so
you don't want to get pushed to that limit, man. Dude, I've been there. It's like fucking horrible.
Either way,
you think the blown out the hemipenes was bad. I came home and a big female Biak that I had raised up, she had prolapse or a whole oviduct, and with eggs in it. It was wrapped around the perch like 5 times with eggs hanging inside. I was like, yo, really?
Terrible.
At 3 a.m. when you're by yourself, and what do I do? All right, it's like a MASH tent just went up in the bathroom. It's like get out all the instruments you can before you actually have to eject the snake from the enclosure and try to fix what happened to it. It's freaking horrible, bro. It's like I had to make a tight, and it wasn't the end of the oviduct; it was the middle of the oviduct that came out. So it was like this big like horseshoe of eggs inside this thing, and
Oh my god!
unwind it and try to sterilize everything and make a little puncture hole in the side of it and pop the eggs through the puncture hole and then try to get everything back in and do it all without killing it.
So what's your hatch rate like? You got anything positive we could talk about?
I'm just telling you all the bad shit.
No, I know, I love it. No, these are stories
nobody talks about all the bad
No,
shit
you're
that
true.
can happen.
It's 100% fact.
That's true.
That is 100% facts. I mean, dude, honestly,
all this shit happens. It's
But
not just blue snakes and unicorns.
but also,
Didn't we do
but you've had some unicorns in your time, James, for sure. Obviously, you have unicorns now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, for the most part, what's your luck been like establishing neonates? Like, I mean, what would you say? Is it just been like a fucking roller coaster too, or is it like once they're out of the egg, you got it down?
No, man. There are some hard ones. There are, like you said, the runners are like those little bastards. Like those are the worst ones because you can't even get them to strike to accept food. I mean, there's some bloodlines that I guess are just like so easy. Everyone's gonna eat right off the bat. Boom, boom, boom. And then others like are just a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's many techniques to feeding, but like a runner is the worst because it's not even gonna stick around for you to offer it the food. So you literally have to like put your finger on the thing and try to
piss it off
enough so it'll bite you.
Yeah.
Like you can just hold it kind of
Bite me.
gently.
Bite me. Yeah.
I mean, but then again, I mean, the things can be like, they could be in shock to some extent if you're not careful stressing out a little animal like that. It's like anything that touches a little baby animal is automatically like, you're eating me, help me, I'm dying. So it's like...
Now, will you assist feed something until the day it actually starts taking, or is there like a deadline where you're like, fuck, you're on your own, dude? Or I mean, what's
They're all different. I mean, every case is different, but if there's one that now I'm just like, if you're not going to eat in the first like 4 weeks, there's something going down, like it or not, and usually it starts to piss them off enough that they go through the routine of, you just pop it in their mouth and they can't get it out. So they'll eventually eat it. So there's a whole little art to that stupidity too. It's like,
there's multiple
arts. If you have nothing to do and are bored out of your mind, you can sit there and watch like a snake sit on your finger while it tries to spit up a rat head until it decides it can't anymore. It has to eat it. I mean, if you're that guy, then hell yeah, I think you can do that.
Oh my god! All right, wrap up.
The scary part about it is that it's all true.
Wrap up question for our man James Cush.
What
would be like your main advice, or a couple pieces of advice to somebody who's brand new in reptiles? But I mean, you could even go chondros in particular. How to start the right way, get experience and knowledge, and then acquire the right animals.
Well, all right. I mean, those are all good questions actually, because if you can do all that shit properly, you'll probably be successful. I mean, when it comes to getting the right animals, I mean, basically, you just got to get them from the right people who are going to, treat you properly. I mean, I want everybody who gets into this to be successful and like share the knowledge, because it's basically that it is all just a database. And I know very little, I think, in comparison to others, but I mean, I know enough that I have to, everything is a learning experience from all this. And, it's a matter of just data logging the information in your head and just being like, this is what I need to do differently to be successful with it. But what you had like 3 parts to that question, though. But
I mean, it's kind of all one question, but then like, you know,
No, it's not.
gaining the right amount of knowledge before, or you know, the knowledge and then like experience kind of part of it too. You know, what I feel like a lot of people jump into it. They see a green tree python and they buy a green tree python. You know, I mean, what do you think the proper approach is?
well, I mean, you have to have like attention to detail. So like, if you're somebody that is gonna be like, well, I'm gonna buy this snake on a whim. I mean, it's not. Any animal should not be bought on a whim. I mean, it's like you have obligations now. Okay, so if you can't meet obligations, don't even bother
Yep.
getting into something else's life that, you know, could have a better life without you. Okay, so it's like, you know,
Exactly.
if you do want to give it a whirl, though, it's like, you know, make a conscious decision to have an obligation to something else, and then you'll be successful. Because if you don't have that, I mean, why are you even doing it?
Yeah.
But you know, it's all a matter of attention to detail and putting in the amount of time and effort to do it the right way. And if you're gonna like go a cheap route and then be sad about it because you put a French fry light on top of your exoteric cage and called it a day, I mean, then don't be mad at the guy that sold it to you, no matter if he's an importer or it was Captain Brett. That's on you.
Right line.
I did my due diligence.
Oh my
No,
god.
you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you
No, you
didn't.
didn't.
Desi does.
Okay, so I kind of have a 2-part question. Is this your like main source of income, is breeding reptiles and selling? Or do you have like a daytime job?
Well, I build furniture. I do carpentry and like fine woodworking. So I do shows where I sell my furniture and I have clients, and so I build whatever needs to be built, you know, including.
So when does that start?
Probably like 15 years ago. Well, maybe 15, 16 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just, you know, started getting into that more and more. I mean, when it comes to like contracting and stuff like that, I'm not a contractor or anything like that, but it, you know, from being able to do working like that and doing like custom furniture, it's like a broad span of customers that I have that need services. So
Cool.
yeah, and I incorporate that into the building the enclosures and my, you know. So next potentially will be a move to Pennsylvania, possibly to buy acreage there and build like a whole sick facility.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Andy, are you moving with him?
What's that?
Is Andy gonna move with you?
I'm coming with.
I have to build an
He's
apartment for
building
this
me a
guy.
little studio, and I'll take care of
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get acreage there and be able to build like just a sick spot where you could do stuff like Chondro Fest again, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like basically, if I had enough acreage, I could do like a zoo type facility, but just for myself, you know. Just
Yeah.
build like that unique structure that was geared towards like crazy exhibits, and possibly we'll see. But
Good luck.
it's you know, you get some income from this, but don't hold your breath. You know, it's like literally don't count your chickens. It's a tough one sometimes. Even when you have a lot of incubator, like nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Hell no. Like, don't ask to make a wait list when you just paired your chondros.
Yeah. No, you got to add your name to the breeder list. That's the way you got to go.
For reals.
No, but you were saying there was another part to your question. Shit, I had it on the tip of my tongue.
Well, that was it. Was if the reptiles were your main thing, and if so, when did that become like a business for you? But it's not.
I mean, I've been breeding them since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
I did my first reptile show when I was like 12, and I had all these babies.
Always been
I
selling
produced,
them.
and people are like, "You fuck you." They didn't even think I produced them. They're like, what's this kid doing with all these baby boas?
Yeah.
Seriously, they're like, you didn't produce these. I'm like, yeah, I live like right down the road. And they're like, oh, wow. I'm like, I must be good. I'd be able to do something. So, started keeping a lot more snakes. But I mean, the green tree pythons, I just knew were like something I could focus on. And that's the one thing I would recommend to people. If you were asking me, try to stay focused. And if you can stay focused, that's another key to having success. I mean, if you're all over the place, you're just going to be a mess. And, I try to keep it focused as best I can. But as you can see, there's a Boelens python and, there's white lip pythons and, But they're still in the same wheelhouse as far as I'm concerned, somehow.
we did not take that advice with like
No.
90-something species. So
Yeah, it's a zoo over here.
I mean,
It's
I like
good.
the whole zoo thing. I just know I literally couldn't, the green trees are a pricey prospect. And, I mean, to some extent I can make some income off it, but it's by no means like the full way to do it. It's hard because, you have good times and take losses. I produce all the animals, so it's not like I'm just getting them. Like when I get them, it's, I have to like beg the snake gods for them.
Yeah. Expecting from everything.
But there's a couple of gravid females right now. There's the Highland Wamena I bred to the Blue Deuce Biak. So that female is really ready to go, and I have one other, but like we said, hopefully the egg gods are kind and they're nice and fertile and everything.
Yeah.
Hey James, so my two-part wrap-up question, since they did 2 parts, I'm going to do 2 parts. It makes sense. What is your long-term goal with Timor pythons? And if I somehow get Timor python hatchlings that I hatch out this year, can we possibly trade something? That's it.
I would trade.
Cool.
I'm up for trades. For
Hell yeah.
Timors.
Yes. Wait. No. Wait. I give you Timor.
Not ball pythons.
No. That's what Steven wants. Ball pythons. Okay, but what are you trying to do with your Timors in the long run? Are you looking to do a breeding project with them?
Yeah, if I'm keeping it, I want to be able to produce it. I mean, there are a lot of animals I would like to work with actually, and I'm kind of just waiting on that until I can build a facility, because there's some sick snakes out there, man, that are so underappreciated, and they're not even high dollar yet. So
yeah,
it's like there's some really cool things that lend themselves to like paludariums and stuff like that. Like you could have the coolest displays, man, and it's like you don't need to have a rack of enclosures. I have individual enclosures, but I would like to see more vivariums and the people that really specialize in that. I mean, I think, dude, if I had like a goal, it would be to have all my stuff like vivarium, like bioactive, like a whole house just dedicated. Like you could grow your garden inside your paludarium longer than you could keep your animals alive technically if you were really good at it.
Yeah.
So it's like if you strove for that goal, even with your one snake, you would be like much better off.
Right.
Long-term goal of the team.
I like that.
Well, though, I mean, the long-term goal of the Timors is to breed them like I'm trying to breed all the other things that I have. I very rarely would just buy like one animal to have it, because if I can do what I'm doing, I'm going to try to do it, to the extent where, somebody has to do it to some extent. I mean, I wish I had more locality stuff. Like those white lips are Biak Island, and I would like to get some more of those potentially to try to keep a locality animal, as best as it. I don't know how documented it is, but if they are indeed pure, I mean, sometime down the line, those might be the next thing that's like, what the fuck happened to them? I don't see them anymore. You know, it's like, they all went to a bunch of people that probably shouldn't have had them at all. You know.
I do have a female, James, that's possibly ovulating in the next couple days or so, based off what I'm seeing. So let's just see what happens. And they're both BX. White lips.
You do?
Yep.
So you bred the Biak to Biak?
Yep.
Were they both reds or red, yellow? Oh, white lips.
White lips. Yeah. I was like,
my brain went back to the green tree pipe.
I was like, is there really white lips like that? Am I tripping right now?
You're like, I don't know.
I was like, I feel stupid. I was like,
Biaks.
My palms got sweaty. I was like, what just happened? I got called out. I don't know.
Right? I totally mind fucked you. I was like, no, I mean, so you have yours, or you think she's going to ovulate?
I mean, dude, I've been talking closely with Ryan Young. He's been kind of like helping me, like just visually help, all right, this is what's happening. Okay, cool. So she's been off food since November. She looked, fairly like slender, not too big. And then now she shed 2 weeks ago and she blew up. She not blew up, but she's big. She looks plumpy. And they've been paired up since November and they've been really cordial and fucking, chemistry's there. I'm not looking for locks. I just know that they're in the hide doing their thing. Now the male's not really too interested. He's kind of just always staying away and she's just hugging the shit out of the heat. So I'm kind of going based off the sheds, based the last time she ate, based off how she looks. I'm just keeping a close eye, but I do know that, shit's in motion.
Did you drop what's the nighttime drop on it?
So I've just, since I feel like she's kind of hugging the heat now, I keep it at 86 on the hotter end, but at night for what it's been, it's been going down to like 75 at night. And then I've been keeping it no hotter than 80 while they've been paired. It's been keeping it 80 to 75.
That's probably, you know maybe more about this than I do, I would say. So, I would think that's really good.
That's just a trade. I just want to trade.
Yeah.
That's it. Be my trade friend, please. But then again, who knows? I don't even, we're counting fucking
Well,
eggs.
We both have white lips. You have white lips, Timors, and, green trees.
I love green. Yeah. The thing is, my scale of green trees aren't where I want it to be. Hopefully someday, like fucking, I remember when I went to go see Steven and Desiree's green tree collection, which isn't massive, but what they have is this Desiree,
you got some nice shit over there. I saw your canaries, your Kofu. Do you have a pair of those?
2 pairs.
You better breed that shit this year.
I'm working on it. We are working on it.
All right, I have faith in you guys. Because I'll buy one.
Okay.
But I have to buy 3, so.
Yeah.
3.
I'll get them going.
Otherwise, they're
on the list
to me.
You're up first.
On the list in the head. Oh man.
I trade blue stuff for those actually, just because I want them.
From what I've understood, those canaries captive bred have been going for ungodly amounts of money the last couple of years.
We got a beautiful high yellow here that is like would rival any canary, believe it or not. It's pretty cool.
A little while ago, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Send that.
That thing is awesome, man. Like he's in deep shed right now, but that thing's like ready to breed. He's like shedding. He produces plugs.
Yeah,
he's got some of the really good high yellow blood in him too. He has Dreamline in him too, right?
Dreamline
and blue blood. Yeah, it's a cool snake.
Send him over. We'll work him in. I said send him over here. We'll work him in.
You guys had a nice yellow one that was at Tinley. At Tinley.
Yeah, male. Yeah, he changed to green.
No,
really?
Different snake.
Oh,
no, he's still
kidding.
The lemon tree.
Yeah, the lemon Kofi Albiak. Yeah, he's been locked up with an undocumented girl. He's really the only female in his area that was ready. But next year we should have an unrelated lemon Kofi Albiak girl ready for him. So that'll be quite the pairing. He has like 10 green scales on his whole body.
Lit.
Oh yeah, that boy.
That's like
this Facebook cover photo.
Lit.
How is Pedro's doing?
Hey, MJ, I did this in post.
Say what?
He didn't make it.
Yeah, we
Oh, you
lost.
didn't make it. Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, sadly, that is what happens with these things. And
Yep.
for unknown reasons sometimes as well.
Yeah, we had him paired up last year with a Carpet Man Queen Blue Line female. They were super compatible, and I thought everything was going right. And then she just started tanking. And then after we lost her, he kind of went the same way a few months later. So,
I mean, I've had males die through, that are, I don't know if it's so much stress on like strong breeder males, but they definitely drop weight very, very quickly, I've found, with aggressive males. And
So
if you don't keep them hydrated, they're going to drop dead on you because I think they're just on fire. I mean, think about all the cruising that they do before you even put them in.
Yeah.
With the female, and then the breeding for months possibly.
Yeah.
So it's just not, if they're not hydrated or don't have enough like nutrients in their body, it just goes away.
Yeah, and part of them being the stupidest snakes ever, we got this one male here. I got it. It was a yellow Neo Maniquari Lyra. I got it attended like 6 years ago. It's the most insane breeder ever. It'll breed anything. And if it's paired, it will not drink, it will not shit, and it will not shed.
Yeah, you got to throw them in a soak for like 24 hours. Yeah, they won't shed either sometimes.
Right. I mean, like literally, like if he's been paired up for a couple weeks, you look in there like, is that an ovulation? It's like, nope, that's the male. That's the male.
All back
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he won't eat during breeding season either. It's very frustrating, but he's a great breeder. So.
Well.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, but at the same time, if you can have a little success, it's worth the rewards are great, It's pretty cool to find some beautiful animals hatching out.
Oh yeah.
I gotta say, James, this has been the realest, I mean this, probably the realest podcast we've had. I mean, period. I have to appreciate the stories on both ends, Steven, Des, and James's stories of what it's really like to keep fucking animals, period.
Wickedy.
Yeah. But hey, honestly, James, thank you so much. This has been an amazing 2 hours. I appreciate this
man.
very, very much. I want to bring you back for a round 2, Andy as well, because I guarantee we have more to talk about. But thank you guys. It really, really means a lot. Andy, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
Bye, Desiree. Bye, Terry.
We'll be in touch, James. I definitely want to pick your brain more and stuff, and we'll be in touch about the Timors and whatnot, and definitely the white lips. So thank you so much, James.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
All right, man. Have a good night. Have a good night, Andy. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Later, man.
See you, man.
See ya.
Wow.
Ooh.
That was great. Oh,
I haven't
man.
done 2 hours in a while.
Man, that was like kind of like such a suspense podcast. Like it was like, oh man, like it was like just the stories were just stalking me left and right. Like I was just not, I was ready, but I was not ready. It was, yeah. But anyways, reality. Sometimes it bites.
Check.
It is what it is. But so much knowledge being dropped. We learned so much tonight. I know I did. I know you two did. And yeah, man, definitely round 2 worthy. What do you say? I would say. How do you feel, Kush? You ready for tomorrow, baby? Now I'm not. Oh my God, guys, you have no idea how I'm excited. Finally gonna have my fucking bubs, Stephen Kush, on the Trap Talk, and boy, is he ready to rock and roll. He has. You're how do you feel, Stephen? How do you feel?
I've been stockpiling on caffeine products. Gonna snort some pre-workout or something like that, and then just
oh my God,
the whole time. And we're going 6 out now, but I'm excited. It'll definitely be a fun time.
Well, it's gonna be a great time, and I appreciate you guys so much for being a part of this show and hanging out with us tonight. If you were just tuning in for the first time ever, for whatever reason, like you just were born yesterday, no big deal. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Let us know how you like the guests. Let us know what you're learning. I want to hear what the biggest what's the biggest take back you guys are getting from each guest? Because that, maybe you guys saw something that we didn't see or hear, or whatever the fuck. I want to know. But yeah, man, Patreon members, thanks for tuning in. We had I think I sent about 11 invites, and we had 8 to 5 people in. So appreciate you guys for tapping in with us. It means a lot. You guys have anything before we dip out?
I guess the same thing we say every week. Everyone, please go support USARK.
USARK.
As Gary Shavino says, they do so much and ask for so little. So $5 a month, more if you can swing it, but having your name on that list of USARK members is more valuable than you could know. So usark.com, check it out, sign up for their mailing list, just stay up to date with everything that's happening across the country with reptile-related legislation. And, the reptile community, I feel like, especially these days, is very divided. There's this camp, when really there's no camps within this. It's us collectively as a unit fighting for our right and privilege to do what we do continuously. And no one's fighting harder than USARK. So please go support them, and please do what we're doing right now and tell people about this. Anyone who's into reptiles, thinking about it, let them know about USARK, because without them, we might not be able to do this in the future.
And if you want to hear more from Stephen Cush, make sure you tap in to tomorrow night's Trap Talk with Stephen Cush. The link in the description below. And the Scrub King is going to be in our presence. You guys have a wonderful night.